Hello and welcome to Inside the Americas. Here's a look at what's coming up in today's show. Donald Trump makes his second presidential bid in the Sunshine State. The US president called on supporters to keep America great by rejecting what he called the radical socialism of his opponents. Facebook enters the virtual financial fray as the social network launches its own cryptocurrency called Libra. And protests continue in Haiti, where demonstrators are accusing the ruling government of siphoning off almost $4 billion of humanitarian aid, which should have gone to the people. First, Donald Trump kicked off his re-election campaign with a rally in Florida. The US president had been expecting huge crowds in Orlando, which brings us to our number of the week, 20,000. That's the number of people who went along to hear him speak. Trump spent much of that speech attacking the press, the political establishment, and the Mueller investigation into Russian interference in the election. He told supporters gathered there that Democrats wanted to, quote, destroy them and the country as they knew it. Nick Rushworth has the story.
With your help, with your love and your devotion, and with your drive, we are going to keep on working.
He pledges more of the same. Launching his re-election bid in Florida, the U.S. President Donald Trump lashed out at the Democrats, saying he had been under assault from the very first day.
Our radical Democrat opponents are driven by hatred, prejudice, and rage. They want to destroy you, and they want to destroy our country as we know it. Not acceptable. It's not going to happen.
He argues he's made good on his 2016 promises, cracking down on illegal immigration and boosting jobs. The campaign slogan, Make America Great Again, becomes Keep America Great.
Our economy is the envy of the world, perhaps the greatest economy we've had in the history of our country.
Fact checks on some of Trump's key statements did not stand up. On the economy, for example, growth was higher in the late 1990s. However, Wall Street is up and unemployment is at half-century lows.
So now I say we've made America great again.
Trump pledged a new immigration system, new trade deals, a healthcare overhaul, and a cure for cancer and many diseases, including the eradication of AIDS in America. Reactions from the Democratic camp included a comment from Bernie Sanders saying the U.S. president delivered an hour-and-a-half speech of lies, distortions, and total, absolute nonsense.
Staying in the US, a new video has emerged of a shocking incident which took place in a store last month, making it our very arresting image of the week. The footage shows police pointing their guns at a pregnant woman and her fiance, who are both African-American, after their 4-year-old daughter took a doll from the shop. The video was filmed by a bystander and shows law enforcement officers shouting profanities at the couple in full view of their 2 small children. The mayor of Phoenix, where the incident took place, has apologized to the couple. They're now calling for the officers in question to be fired, saying the incident was motivated by racism. Next, lines between the virtual world and the real one are set to blur a little more as Facebook launches its own cryptocurrency. The social network is partnering with firms like MasterCard, PayPal and Uber to develop the Libra digital coin, which is slated for launch in early 2020. Solange Mougin tells us how the move could shape the way we spend and how we save.
A year in the making and thought to cost $1 billion. Facebook has unveiled Libra, an attempt to bring digital currency to the masses and to compete with other cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. The social media giant has released this presentation touting Libra's prowesses, saying the new currency could soon be as commonplace and useful as cash for Facebook's 2.4 billion monthly users. Facebook says such a digital currency will also permit around 1 billion people in the world who don't use banks to be able to shop, transfer, and save money with the click of their phones. At select exchange shops, cash will be able to be converted into digital libras. And to avoid fluctuations like those that have plagued Bitcoin, the currency will be pegged to other major currencies. But such a global cryptocurrency could also raise major regulatory issues.
I think there's some interesting regulatory questions that pop up. Firstly, Facebook is a global company. Are they creating a global currency? That's a little bit difficult to manage. We have no universal definition of money, actually, across the entire planet yet. So every single country seems to have a slightly different interpretation of what money actually is.
To try and ward off regulatory and technical issues, Facebook has consulted with multiple governments and set up a consortium to run Libra. Over 24 corporations have signed on, including Visa, MasterCard, Uber, and PayPal. But fears and questions about privacy and taxation have yet to be answered.
In Haiti, a wave of anti-corruption protests is showing no sign of running out of steam. Thousands of demonstrators have staged rallies nationwide to demand that their leader, Jovenel Moïse, resign over allegations of corruption. The protests have intensified following the publication of a parliamentary probe which accuses a string of officials of misusing development funds. Thomas Waterhouse explains.
A chorus of exasperated Haitians sing from what's now a well-known hymn sheet. The streets of Port-au-Prince have been choked by renewed protests as calls for the president to quit office grow louder.
I'm here to voice my anger at our corrupt system, which causes misery. This system steals billions of dollars, money that cannot be stolen by just one person or one sector, but is stolen with the complicity of many.
In recent days, barricades have been built, clashes between police and demonstrators have broken out, and some have even tried to storm the National Palace. But the man inside, Jovenel Moïse, says he won't be resigning. The first flames of discontent were lit back in February, but recent revelations about the Petro-Caribe scandal have added fresh fuel to those fires. A High Court investigation has found that several former and current government officials embezzled $3.8 billion of funds generated by a 13-year-old oil alliance with Venezuela. That deal allows Haiti to buy Venezuelan oil at a reduced price, as long as the difference is put in a development fund. Some of that much-needed aid money was meant to be spent on the construction of a hospital or to help the hardest-hit households. But the exact whereabouts of that cash is now anyone's guess. Many are pushing for justice to be served.
All of the individuals concerned and all the businesses named in this financial scandal should make themselves available to the justice system, and that includes the President of the Republic himself.
While the roots of this scandal were planted well before his own presidency, Moïse continues to deny any personal wrongdoing. He's called on his fellow countrymen to remain calm.
In Brazil, they call her the female Pelé. Marta da Silva now holds the record for the highest goal scorer in any World Cup, that's men and women included, with 17 goals scored so far. She's been named best player in the world 6 times now and has given women's football a massive popularity boost in her country. Today she plays for the Florida club Orlando Pride. Well, our reporters went to her childhood home in the northeast of Brazil, in the state of Alagoas, to find out more about the champion's background. And despite the challenges she faced as a girl in a world where the majority of football initiatives were aimed at boys, Marta's now a UN Goodwill Ambassador for women and girls in sport. Piela Duff and Laura Damaze report from the small town where she grew up.
In the town of Dois Riachos, everyone knows Tota, Marta da Silva's first coach.
Here, from the moment they're born, they play football.
He immediately detected Marta's extraordinary talent. Today, he shares his pride with Marta's mother. Though reluctant at first, Teresa ended up accepting her daughter's passion.
She'd leave the house saying that she was going to school, but she wouldn't go.
She secretly went to play football.
Yeah, she'd hide for 2 or 3 days.
Born into poverty, Marta played here on a dry riverbed, always with the boys. They included Thiago Nunes. He remembers the humiliations she suffered in competitions.
A fan once asked her to take off her clothes to see if she was really a woman. We were all uncomfortable. We welcomed her because we needed her. She was different, one of the best players we had, and there was no boys with her skills. We just wanted Marta on our side.
The best player in the world today has given women's football a global face. We got to meet Marta a few weeks ago on her visit to Brazil.
I had to suffer all of this so that we could use it as an example. It's not your gender that should define the way you work, it's what you produce, and if you do it with excellence.
In her home state, girls aim to follow Marta's path. Her career and her level of play inspire these young players of Maceo's women's team.
She's not the type of player that does tricks with the ball. She takes the ball and charges forward towards the goal to do what she does best. Run fast, shoot, and score.
All they hope for is that Marta can bring Brazil the Women's World Cup Championship, the only title that still resists her.
And finally, one viral video is getting people smiling thanks to a Tennessee dad's debrief about the TV series Empire. DJ Pryor was thinking out loud after the finale of the show was screened, and right on cue, his 19-month-old son started joining in. Kingston Pryor can't technically talk, but his animated hand gestures and intonation would have you believe he was in serious discussion with his dad. And with millions and millions of views online, it's made both of them internet superstars. We'll leave you with a clip of that video. Do join us here next time for Inside the Americas on France 24.
Oh, yeah.
Fake news. Noun. False stories that appear to be news, spread on the internet or using other media. At France 24, our job is to provide you with information that's been verified. We check sources, we check facts, we sort what is true from what is fake.
At the France 24 Observers, we verify photos and videos circulating online. If they're fake, we let you know and tell you how we spotted them.
In Fact or Fake, we dig into viral stories around Europe to shake out the truth from the trash.
Every day on Info Migrants' website, we fight fake news spread on social networks about the reality of migration.
France 24, news based on facts.
Liberté, égalité, actualité.